Welcome to the Front 7 Podcast. I am your host, Money Mike. I come to you with news regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers and whether or not we have another Deflategate scandal on our hands. The New York Giants informed the league office of two underinflated footballs that they found during their game against the Steelers. Now, maybe it's just the fact that it's December and that the cold weather is going to affect the PSI of the footballs, or just maybe there's an actual scandal. Now, nobody knows for sure. The report came out this morning. Didn't say anything in terms of the PSI, there's nothing really revealed about that. But we do know that the football PSI was at 12.5 at kickoff. Now, again, like I said, a lot of this probably had to do more with the cold weather and the fact that it's December, more than the Steelers probably deflating footballs to have a chance at winning. The NFL came out with a statement here regarding the issue of Deflategate Part 2. The official game ball procedures were followed and there were no chain of command issues, according to league spokesman Brian McCarthy. All footballs were in compliance and no formal complaint was filed by the Giants with our office. So apparently the Giants, they found some footballs that were underinflated, but they never really made a formal complaint. Though Jay Glazer says the Giants are still waiting to hear back from the league. Now, both teams have not commented on this issue. A spokesman from both teams have declined to comment on the story. So, who knows what's going to happen. But I already see the comment on the articles regarding this from Patriots fans that are just coming out like, I guess they're mad because it seems like the league is ignoring this, and then the league did everything they could to smear the Patriots on their Deflategate scandal. I mean, if there is really a Deflategate Part 2 with the Steelers, then I think the precedent has already been set in terms of the punishment. If the NFL does find that there was illegal tampering with the footballs by the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Patriots were fined $1 million. They lost a first-round pick, and Tom Brady was suspended. So if the Steelers are found guilty of Deflategate, then I think it's only fair that Big Ben be suspended 4 games next year. The Steelers are fined $1 million, and a loss of their first-round pick in 2017 would be the best way to go about this, if indeed the Steelers did commit a violation of illegal tampering with the footballs. So it will be interesting to see what comes of this. Honestly, I think it's just more of the weather. Really, think about this. The Giants, they play up north as well, and you would think the Giants would know just as much as the Steelers how much cold weather can affect the PSI in footballs. So, the Giants may be complaining about nothing in terms of this being just, hey, the cold weather caused the footballs to deflate a little bit. Or, as I said, there might be a real issue here. Who knows? But if there is a real issue, I just hope the NFL does not make it a circus like they did with the Patriots. And as I said, since the precedent has been set with the penalties for it, that if there is a clear violation, then punish the Steelers the same way you did the Patriots and get it over with. Now, if the Steelers were to, or if Big Ben were to challenge the suspension the way Brady did and avoid the 4-game suspension until 2018, as I said, this is all, what if, if this thing is actually a real case, that would be interesting to see if Ben would appeal the suspension to avoid the 4-game suspension like Brady did, how he avoided for a whole year. To me, I think this is where I think the league needs to really need to look at something in terms of maybe checking the footballs at halftime when we get into the November, December, January stretches where we get into these cities where it's cold, and the cold weather is going to affect the air and affect the air in the footballs. So if the cold air and the weather is causing the footballs to be underinflated during the game, then there needs to be something where the NFL can, at halftime, remeasure the PSI of the footballs, and if there's any that are under 12.5, go ahead, reinflate the ball to get it to 12.5, and then you avoid the issue completely. This way, the NFL can very least, have 2 measurements, one before the game and halftime, and then any balls that were underinflated due to the weather, they can put the air back in it at halftime, unless there was actual tampering done by a team. Now, there wasn't really any proof that anything happened with the Patriots. It was just one big old circus that was just ridiculous to have to go through for an entire year. Hopefully, this thing can be quickly put to rest, and we don't have to hear about the Steelers fighting the league for a whole year. Because if we have to sit through Deflategate once again to get through the offseason, it's going to be a torture. So, maybe the Bills, maybe they found some balls that were deflated. I don't know. Maybe the Bills will report to the league that they found some deflated balls. I don't even know. But the Steelers did beat the Bills earlier. So, it will be interesting to see if the Buffalo Bills have a similar complaint. And when you look at the effects of a deflated football, it does make it easier for a running back to hold the ball and to carry it, and harder for a defender to knock it loose for a fumble. It makes it easier for a quarterback to throw. And we saw Le'Veon Bell had a great day rushing-wise. So, was the ball deflated that caused Le'Veon Bell to have the big day he had? Or was it just, again, the Bills' defense just sucks? Rex Ryan will probably be fired tomorrow, according to reports. So, who knows? I've been your host, Money Mike. Hopefully this is not going to be another drawn-out Deflategate trash scandal that probably carries on for much longer than it should. Stay tuned for more of the Front 7 podcast. Plus, I have a new show coming up on this channel. So, subscribe for more of the Front 7 podcast, the Everything Else podcast, and a brand new show coming to this channel in just a week.